Hi, I'm Richard Vague with Tycos. Today we're going to talk about free trade and industrial decline. Last time we pointed out how tariffs helped build America into a manufacturing powerhouse, a historical reality that challenges the conventional wisdom that free trade has always been a foundational part of American doctrine. This week we examine the turning point, when and why the U.S. shifted toward free trade. How did free trade take hold as the dominant economic policy, and what has been its lasting impact on American industry? America was at its zenith in manufacturing dominance just after World War II, but we took that manufacturing dominance for granted. And from the 1970s forward, we gradually lost it, along with millions of manufacturing jobs, as U.S. business outsourced manufacturing. In fact, in spite of that supposed free trade posture, since World War II, America has often given other countries trade benefits at the expense of our own industries in exchange for being our allies in supporting our foreign policies, especially those policies and military actions against communist countries during the Cold War. Following World War II, American foreign policy makers began to enact what the historian Alfred Eckes called a policy of, quote, trade, not aid. It was cheaper to give a trade benefit than to send them cash. In an unpublished page for his memoirs, President Harry Truman wrote, quote, American labor now produces so much more than low-priced foreign labor in a given day's work that our working men need no longer feel, as they were justified in feeling in the past, the competition of foreign forces. He couldn't have been more wrong. At about that time, the Commission on Trade, headed by Daniel W. Bell, the former budget director of the Roosevelt administration, proposed to increase imports of manufactured goods, even if that led to unemployment for an estimated 60,000 to 90,000 American workers. Again, trading American jobs for foreign policy support. In 1963, President Kennedy called on the United States and its allies to, quote, open our markets to the developing countries of Africa, Asia, and Latin America. Kennedy warned an AFL-CIO convention in Dallas that protection of U.S. industry risked, quote, driving potential trading partners into the arms of the Soviets, end quote. One of the few government officials who dissented from the prevailing orthodoxy was George Humphrey, Eisenhower's Secretary of the Treasury, declaring that, quote, we were protectionist by history and had been living under a greatly lowered schedule of tariffs in a false sense of security because the world was not in competition. That has changed now, and the great wave of competition from plants we have built for other nations was going to bring vast unemployment to our country. By the 1970s, America's policy of tolerating foreign mercantilism was greatly harming American industry. U.S. manufacturers like Detroit's big three automakers were being battered by imports from Europe and especially from Japan, while America's embattled automakers claimed correctly they were excluded from the Japanese automobile market by various subtle forms of Japanese protectionism. In other words, we gave away trade benefits in exchange for support of our foreign policy objectives. One major exception to this posture of favoring foreign exporters in exchange for policy support was the imposition of 100% tariffs by Ronald Reagan on Japan in 1987 in retaliation for Tokyo's failure to abide by our semiconductor trade agreement. And it worked. Japan conceded to new trade terms. That brings us to today, so the question is, what's the right answer? The answer is this: tariffs in and of themselves are neither good nor bad. When we were the world's dominant manufacturer, well, of course we championed free trade. Now that we aren't, it's not as obvious that we should. Seems more logical that we should use tariffs when it is to our net advantage and dispense with them when it is not. Given our size and resources, we will likely not need them far more often than we will, and the threat of tariffs alone may often be enough to accomplish our aims. Now, I want to make one last and crucial point on tariffs. The surest path to an improved national trade balance is not tariffs, but innovation, breakthrough products that ensure the world beats a path to our door. In his concern about the trade deficit with China, Trump has a valid concern. Yet our trade deficit did not improve during his first term. Trump failed on trade because he relied exclusively on tariffs, which are a fickle tool in a world where currencies float, trade retaliation by other countries comes quickly, and supply chains are complex. While tariffs have their place, they are only one small part of a bigger equation. So if Trump's tariffs by themselves didn't work, how can we improve our balance of trade? The answer is obvious, but so widely overlooked that it might sound like heresy. To improve our balance of trade, we should make better and more advanced products and services. That's been our advantage for 150 years, so much so that our product and service superiority was long essentially taken as a given. Didn't we export the best products and services in the world? We'll explore that further next week. As always, you can find PDFs of our charts in the email or on our website, tycos.com. Thank you.